All right, we're
Well, we know you can afford it. We're all gonna move in with you.
You know, there's something to be said about it's a big complex and 10 families there.
Hey, if it works, it works.
Mike, how's it going? Good, how are you? Good.
You want some? They're gummies. Gummy lifesavers.
What's that?
Lifesavers.
Save your life.
Where'd you go buy it?
Not at the dispensary.
Oh, okay.
Goodness,
Well, that's legal nowadays anyways.
yeah, but it's not that road that I've been down there.
It's not my road, so. Oh, Harrison. Wow.
You guys did a great job back then.
For the Weathersfield, play, his wife. Wrote the.
That's really hard to place you on calls and she appreciates and everything.
Yeah.
Well,
we did create those major ones.
Right, I didn't see that. That's the first.
Yeah.
He said he enjoyed watching and he said, "Oh, fewer than I thought it was going to be." I thought,
Which parts in it?
oh, what's not, yes. No,
That's just, no, that's good.
okay.
On our first one. Then you have to keep taking characters out. We do
Mr. Rex and John, there's a that paper up there on the podium, if you'd like to sign it, please.
Oh, okay.
Are you doing good?
Okay.
So then what are things probably wrapping up and all the lyrics on this totally way outline.
I was active about it, so I didn't want to. That's not like they do it. And finding that
I checked them out.
I grab all the different handles of the different
What is
bags
it?
and realize, okay, it's done for that, but I've still got my hand through the seatbelt. You know, so in the process, I'm tackling myself, I'm able to drop the bag that's got the machine. It's like, oh, good, I'm gonna, what's that? Sit on. Keep wondering where this elegant room is, where it's are you things? Yeah, it's like, what do you do? That's a nice to the meeting, so we can hear. But it was actually the heater, not just the preheating.
As you get older, it doesn't take much, right? Okay, all right, where it is.
You hear something, I'll holler in your ear.
There you go. In Ukraine.
I've had enough. But I think it's supposed to stop today.
What,
Saturday.
the rain?
Yeah.
Oh, yes. May turn to snow later this evening.
Who's talking to you?
You know? Well, I looked at the nighttime temperatures for the whole week were below freezing. Yeah. Like, oh my God, it's that time of the year now.
Message.
Well, I have an unidentified Zoom user. Should I ask them to identify themselves or can people attend privately via Zoom? Should I protect their privacy?
I would ask if they
We have to know who they are.
Yeah.
Only if they address the board, right?
Oh, they regulate.
Yes.
Oh,
There's.
Only if they raise the board, so I don't have to ask them.
Don't think so.
Put in the minutes, unidentified Zoom.
There you go.
You could ask them if
But
they
this
want.
looks
to
like
have
a
it
screen,
signed.
no, it just says Zoom user, doesn't it? Oh. Yeah. I don't.
You look like you just got out of bed.
Sorry, guys, I'm working out still.
Oh, you didn't mean for us to see, did ya?
What's that?
You didn't mean for us to see, did ya?
No, my wife tried to log me in. I'm rowing. I don't know where I am. I'm off in some distant land.
At least I think that's what it was. Nice.
6:30, I'll bring the meeting to order. We can stand for pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Can't review, is there anything that we need to add to the agenda or move?
Exec session's not on here.
That.
I would like to request an executive session.
Okay.
Personnel, 313, 313, something like that. Personnel.
Anything else?
Ellie? School report was supposed to be the first meeting of every month. We didn't do it last month because we both met on Tuesday. But I'm not on the agenda. I could do it under comments from citizens.
That's when we'll do it. We'll do it next.
Okay.
Comments from, yeah.
Well,
Any-
I don't ask any questions, which is good.
Okay. Are there any, up next, item number 4, comments from the select board. Is there any comments from the select board? Town manager? Yeah,
Do we want, under the future agenda items, do we want to put the?
we'll get to that later.
Okay,
That's number 16. We'll do that when we get to number 16.
yeah, no, I
Whatever
just
you want
wanted.
to add to it or whatever.
Okay, okay, good.
Okay. Citizens for any topics that are not on the agenda. This is you, Mr. John Harrison.
Monthly school board report, the SU budget has been finalized. As you all know, you don't get to vote on it. It is up 16.2%. And I want to point out that 1.4% of that is administrative, 14.8% of that is special ed. And if anybody thinks they can do something about that, you're welcome to make suggestions. Our portion of the SU budget that we're responsible for. These are gonna be rounded numbers in millions. 8.891 was this current budget. The new budget is 9.908, or it's up 10%. If you back out, okay, our budget is up. Our operating budget for 27 is up just a smidgen under 10%. And if you back out the special ed increase in the SU budget, our budget's up about a little over 6%. So it's the numbers will really get skewed, and anybody's welcome to attend our meeting. Like I said, the SU budget has actually been passed by the board, and that allows the Heartland, Windsor or Mount Scott Unified and us to complete our budget process, which we're in the middle of. The high school tuition numbers are out. Needless to say, they're all up. And Springfield is leading the pack again at 27,000. Windsor at about 24. And the range is anywhere from 20 to 27,000. And we have school choice and I'll tell you right now, school choice is expensive for us. If we were actually, part of, Mount Scotty Unified, it would be a lot less expensive. It's a choice we've made and we paid for it. Last thing, at our last meeting, we had an agenda item to talk about a possible crosswalk at the bottom of Schoolhouse Road. And I said I'd come to the board on a common citizen, so I didn't expect to start a back and forth conversation. But the question become who leads on that, the town or the school? And my thoughts are that we both take a parallel approach. And I'll make sure, and we all want to talk about this and get the letters out. But the obstacle that we're gonna run into with the state is that they generally do not put crosswalks that don't connect to a sidewalk. And that, we're probably gonna get pushback that no, we're not gonna do it. So I think it's really gonna take a strong effort from both the town and the school to actually get them to do it. The LDS church uses an overflow parking occasionally. People walk across the road. There's numerous families on the other side of the road, Route 5, that send kids to school and cross. And I think it would enhance, at least at some level, the safety if it was a designated crosswalk. Okay.
John, what nights does the school board meet?
Pardon me?
When does the school board meet?
Not looking at the calendar in 2 weeks on a Tuesday. I can get back to you. I don't have.
It's like the second Monday of the month, or when do they meet?
Tuesday. What
Tuesday.
about Tuesdays?
Second and fourth Tuesday?
They only
Yeah.
once a month.
Right.
Second Tuesday?
Second Tuesday.
Thank
Yeah.
you. Anything else from anybody else? Review the minutes from the previous meeting. Have a motion to approve the minutes from 10/14/25.
I move we approve the minutes from 10/14/25.
Is there a second? Second. Discussion.
Does that match the minutes that are in the, it
No.
says 10/27?
Yeah, the
Oh, the
agenda
10th
says October 14th, the minutes are actually October, so.
Did you put the wrong date in, Brandon?
Yes. Sorry, wrong date. Right
Okay.
minute. Do we have the right minutes in there?
Yes.
Okay.
Do I withdraw that motion then?
No, just.
No, 10/20, it's 10/27 instead of 10/14.
So do I have to do anything to amend the motion? Or did you just do that? I just did it. Okay.
Okay, any discussion on the minutes? I had a question on page 3, I don't know what this page this is. It's page 3, item 9B. Fund balances may come to, is that meant to be approximately 250,000? I'm not sure.
What's that little wavy line?
Yeah, that's a
building.
It usually means
about.
approximately,
Yeah.
but I'm not sure that that's gonna be universally understood. And then my other point was under item 10O. N rather, N and P. It said that I abstained and I actually recused. There is a difference.
I've got a few, but I gotta find them. Because it's in the packet. But one of them has to do with the,
I had a couple more
oh, go ahead.
while you're looking for your.
Yeah, absolutely.
Brandon's name is misspelled,
Yep, that was one of them.
item 10L. And under item 12. I guess it's Roman numeral 5, is it number 5? Members agree to consult other town employees, and I think we specifically named the town clerk and the land use administrator in that discussion. And that's it, I'm done.
So. So if we look at section 10.
Yes.
if you start at N, it lays out what the votes were, but in P, it says there's 4 A's, that is incorrect. It clears it up in Q, which is
Right.
right,
Yeah.
All right. It's,
okay,
yeah, easy enough.
and Forrest already got all the other ones that I saw.
Anything else, Mike?
No,
Okay. Do a motion to accept the minutes from 10/27/25 with the corrections. Signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, any abstentions? Reappraisal update.
Everybody have an opportunity to review the agreement? Yes.
Get up to the podium and say who you are, so Stephanie can get your name.
Can't you come up here?
Yes, you're special.
Okay. Thank you. I'm Nate Stoddard. I am your project lead for your 2027 reappraisal. Townwide reappraisal. I can answer any questions you may have. A real quick kind of overview of where things are at right now. Being that, so this is a reappraisal that's effective for April, as of April 1, 2027. We ran this year, April 1, 2027. It's looked at or maybe called a 2-year project. Here we are kind of in year 1, if you will. Where we're at up to date so far is a new database has been installed into your program, into your cloud program, into your brand list program. New cost tables have been embedded into that program. Cost tables are what we use as part of the valuation. Valuations are cost to rebuild new minus depreciation. All that's been done on the back end. Takes a little bit of work, programmers, all that stuff. The next step is a preliminary sales review. I've gone through a preliminary sales review. I've looked at the past couple of years worth of sales, get a good feel of what the market says for Weathersfield. Fairly time consuming project. Kind of the next step is to prepare for boots on the ground on site data collection. So what we'll do is we'll come into the town and we start knocking on doors to evaluate homes and properties. Barb has produced the documents necessary for the assessors to take out when they go out in the field. And basically what that means is she has printed, the cost sheet and these store hanger cards. I'll explain what these are in a little bit. She's printed those and compiled them by road for every parcel in town. 1,600 and some odd parcels. So she's compiled that. So Barb's ready for us. A lot of work to do that. It took us 4 hours just to get the printer set up, the printing center. Whatever, a lot of work to do that, and that's necessary, because we need to have this information, because basically your reappraisal is checking your data, finding out what's on the data, is making sure it's accurate. So where we're at now is all those are done. Essentially, we're probably ready to hit the ground, boots on the ground, start knocking on doors. The other thing that I've been doing lately is I've been looking at all of your land parcels, 200 and some odd land owned parcels. And what that means is I look at Vermont's parcel viewer, Vermont's Agency of Natural Resources, your own town tax map. And I'm looking at just your raw land, because we got to evaluate raw land as well. And as you can imagine, if I pull up the side of the road to a piece of land and I got 5 feet, 10 feet, 20 feet, 300 feet of road frontage, I don't know what the rest of that 20, 10, 5 acres looks like. So we have to look at that. And I look at that on an Agency of Natural Resources. I look at topographical maps, wetlands maps, and I embed an initial grading, if you will, of that property. And then I also embed a picture of that parcel, so that when the data collector is out there, and he drives by that, he can go, okay. We looked at this, we've had a grade, now I can see the road frontage is good, bad, or indifferent, and he can further, assess the property. So all that's been done. I've done, I think there's 200 and some odd land parcels only in your town. I've done about. Well, I've done 10% of your whole town, just in land, which is, just under 100 land parcels. So I've already evaluated and reviewed 100 so land parcels. So work is being done. Takes a long time to do that. Look at an A&R map, overlay the wetlands, make sure there's no wet, and all that. And so, I'm that far along. You could probably say that your reappraisal is 10% done in that aspect. And before we hit boots on the ground with assessors knocking on doors, all that land will be done in the next few weeks. My hope is to actually do some data collection. Before snow, cold, bad weather hits. December last year was good to us. We were able to do data collection in our towns last year. January and February, forget it. You can't walk around the property properly to evaluate it in snowbanks and 2 feet of snow, so. Unfortunately, there's 2 or 3 months sometimes that are just absolutely lost. But like with any project, we hit the ground running in the spring, and we spend all summer, and we do, 15, 16, 1700 parcel pounds in the summertime. I'm finishing up my current 2-year project in the second year. I have just about 150 parcels left out of the 1700 parcel town to finish, so. That's my concentration, is to finish that one, as well as the same will be with Weathersfield in 2027, will be my concentration in the December of 26 to make sure you're done. So that's kind of where we're at. We're ready to go. I want to, if you can, and basically, I want to just basically tell you what the process is going to be. The going out and visiting the process. Seems like there might be a little confusion, there always is. Social media is blowing up about some of this, which is fine. Basically, what happens from here on out is when I tell Barb I'm ready to do inspections, I'm gonna say, Barb, mail out notifications to Bowen Hill. Bowen Hill? Mail out notifications to Bowen Hill. And what Barb's gonna do is she's gonna mail a card to every resident on Bowen Hill at that time. And that card is gonna basically say, within the coming weeks, somebody's gonna come do an evaluation on your property. Some of the confusion is about interior inspections. I think I looked at your website today. Looks like that's been updated to help clarify some of that. Interior inspections are voluntary. They are absolutely very helpful to the process, but they are voluntary. Any inspections, well, interior inspections are voluntary. But again, very, very, very helpful to the process. So we mail out a card, we say we're coming in the next few weeks. And then within that next few weeks, we go, we knock on doors. If nobody is home, we will perform an exterior evaluation, measure the property, take pictures of it, update them, look at the outbuildings, evaluate the property. And we leave what we call a door hang card. This little card that's on there on the website, it shows exactly what this is and what it means. At that point, when folks get that, they can go onto the online portal that we've generated that will show their data. Barb showed me an email tonight. Somebody's asking about not being able to see their data. This data will not be on that website until after an on-site inspection has been done. Can't go look at it now. It's not there because I haven't inspected it. If you want to know about your data now, call Barb and she can pull it up and tell you what your data is. So we leave the card when we do the inspection. On the card, it talks about looking at that portal to verify the data or calling and scheduling a revisit. When we start doing this, I'm going to set up a specific day that we're going to do callbacks. Whatever day we be, every Tuesday of every week, we're gonna do callbacks. Barb will schedule callbacks every half hour, and I'll go back out and visit every property that wants me to come back out. The other attempt that we do, so we make every attempt we can to do a full evaluation, interior, exterior. So we mail you a card, tell you we're coming. We leave you a card on the door, tell you we were there. If you so choose to call back, have us come out, I'll come back out. If you go online to the portal, you look in the portal and you say, you can respond back in that portal. No, I don't have 3 bedrooms. No, I don't have a bathroom. No, whatever. Information, we want the information about your property. And then on top of that, other situations that happen, no trespass signs. We will absolutely honor no trespass sign. You have a no trespass sign down at the end of the driveway, I'm not going on your property. Perfectly respect that. You will get another card, an attempt asking, hey, we were out there, we saw your no trespass sign, completely appreciate it. Would you mind having us out? So every attempt made is made for us to do an evaluation of these properties in a respected, polite manner. Interior inspections. I'm interested in your number of bedrooms, number of bathrooms, your finished square foot, and an overall condition of what's called the solid fixtures of your home. Flooring, bedroom, your bathroom fixtures, kitchen, cabinets, condition stuff, overall condition. I walk through a house, you could ask me about any house in one of my current towns, show me a picture of it and say, hey, you went in this house, what do you know about that kitchen? Yeah, guess what? Fairly new updated kitchen, granite tops, blah, blah, blah. I couldn't tell you if you had laundry in the corner of your bedroom or not. I couldn't tell you if you had gross dishes in your sink. I don't look at that stuff. I'm there to look at the fine fixtures, what's valued in your property. You know, you got a rack full of high-end priceless guns on the wall. I don't care. Well, I might because I may be interested, but it has nothing to do with reappraising. I'm not there to look at personal property. Weathersfield values personal property, but they don't value that type of personal property. So we're not there to do that. We're not there to go inside and scope your place out. Just there to figure out what the condition of your home is, what you have, and the value is as accurate as it possibly can be. So hopefully that clears some things up. I want to make a quick other point about these attempts to do interiors. We make all these attempts to do these interiors. And out of our reappraisal towns that we finished for 2025, one, two, three, four, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 towns. We did 13 reappraisal towns for 2025. Out of all of those, we get into 24% of the inside 20, physically inside 24% of the properties. I'm sorry, it just does not happen. I'm working in a town right now where the lister, and I'm sure Barb will be the same way, very, very diligent about falling back, hitting on people. Hey, come out, come out. I ran the numbers today. I had 200, it's a 1,700 parcel town. I have 255 parcels left to inspect. I'm running about 37% interior. And she is just adamant about trying to get interior inspections, still only at 37%. So if you think you're gonna get into a lot of houses, we're just not. It's back, fortunately. Maybe we'll do better in Weathersfield if the people let us in. Some other notes is just I wanted to point out, this whole 2-year project that we do, you know, yeah, we're in year 1 and we don't do a lot right now. We've done a lot of behind the scenes work, which is necessary. But again, all next summer is where we're gonna do the bulk of our work in completing your reappraisal. That online portal that I talked about. So the interior inspection percentage of that 24, basically there's 2 ways we track that. One, the day I'm there and I knock on the door, you let me inside, or I come back for a visit. Between all of those, it's only, you know, last year was 24%. Then there's that online portal. People can go online and look at it and respond back. Again, out of those same 2025 towns, there was 11,600 parcels between those, what did I say, 13 towns. 5,000 people viewed their record on our online portal. 474 people submitted a change request. Maybe data's not bad, you know, maybe your data was accurate, whatever, but 471 responded. So again, that's the other attempt that we're making to get this data. People are allowed to go on and just email me back and say, no, I don't have any bathroom, I'll be happy to change it, or email you back and have a conversation with them. So that's, again, just an example of our attempt to really get into these homes. Yeah, just interior inspections. Other than that, I think, I mean, I brought a bunch of information that talks about the kind of work we're doing. 2026. We're gonna finish 14,000 parcels over 13 or 14 towns. 2027, we're slated to do about 15,000 parcels, 2028, 16,000. We're already booked out 2029 to do 17,000 parcels. So we're very busy and doing this, we're not by any means trying to cut any corners. I'll go into every house if I can get into every house. I think it's important. Most people don't want it, and that's fine too, but it's important to hopefully get that data. I don't really know what else I thought I would bring up that might help this. 35% in the town I'm currently working at, website change. I like the new stuff on the website. It's hopefully gonna answer some questions. The next step for Barb also actually is to start figuring out all your inactive parcels and are they, you know, contiguous, and making sure we're capturing the information right. Sending out notices to your non-tax parcels to get insurance value updates. It's all standard stuff, but this is all behind the scenes things that have to be done. When you don't see somebody knocking on the door, all this stuff, all this other work is being done. But 255 parcels to finish my 2026 town. Here we are in the second week of November. Winter holds out. I could be knocking on doors second week of December here. It all goes.
How many are there?
Weathersfield has,
No, how many assessors are there that are gonna go around?
here for Weathersfield,
Yeah.
you will possibly have 3 different folks, counting myself.
Okay.
I'm just thinking, we all work from home.
Yeah.
We all live all over the state. Connecticut River Valley has 1, 2, Chester 3. 4. And I'm being told we might be hiring somebody from the Berkshire area, lives up that way, so.
I just wanna make sure people realize they
Yeah.
might not just see you, they'll see.
Yeah, absolutely, and Barb will have a list in her office of names, vehicle descriptions. So that if anybody call, cause it happens, people call in, hey, somebody's in my driveway, a green Subaru, yeah, that's named. Green Subaru Nimmer. We have magnet signs on our cars. I usually wear an ID, we have IDs. In the right weather, I wear a vest with logo on it, so. Everybody will have all that with them. But it's simple, the town office gonna get some calls. Somebody's driving around, but. Generally, it's pretty well received. Weathersfield will be my 6th town as a lead assessor. I don't think I've run into anything too bad. No, not at all, actually, you know, dogs, but. And that's not to say we haven't had our share of issues with folks, you know, dog bites, threats and stuff, but. I've been the assessor for Weathersfield for 3 years, 4 years. So, I mean, I'm familiar with a lot of the town as it is. So I don't know if there's anything else I can provide for answers or questions,
Mr. Todd has a question for you down on the end there.
Alrighty.
Um. The first thing I want to actually make a statement, and that is that the appraisal in and of itself, people need to remember that. This is state law and we were required under the state law because our CLA dropped below, the state level. And, the board acted on that, nearly 2 years ago. Because we had to. You're required by, even if we didn't, it was gonna happen. So that was the first thing. Okay, now to my questions. Does a sales review take into account any deviation from normal trends caused by COVID-19?
So I would say sales trends, sales analysis eliminates outliers anytime.
Okay.
Depends on when you draw the line or think when the trend of COVID-19 ended or not. So when this starts, so your reappraisal is gonna be as of April 1, 2027. 26, 25, 24. So all sales, April 1, 2024 and after, are what's gonna be used in your sales review. So whenever you think COVID spikes, sales pressure happened because of that is or is ended. That's up to you to, whatever you think that is. I can tell you that I think that ended honestly in 2022. So
Yeah, I think the spike ended. I don't know if values dropped off, maybe a little, but.
I'm not seeing any values drop off. I can tell you in the last 3 years of reappraised 3-year towns. I have a 3-year-old town that is looking at needing a reappraisal. Because their numbers have just still increased in sales. Your neighboring town, just northeast, did reappraisal there last year. Their current sales, and I couldn't tell you how many there are, the valid sales, 20 or so. They're looking at 14% higher.
North is that way.
Yeah. I don't know which way it's facing. Anyways, that's my point is, yeah, you can draw the conclusion and say that it's COVID sales, but.
Okay. You've already, answered the next one, which is entry a requirement. You've already answered that. How does no entry actually affect an appraisal?
It depends what you're missing. Square footage is the biggest calculator, but we're cost driven. Your values, all values are cost driven, market adjusted. Square footage, finished area square footage is one of the bigger drivers. So. If I don't get into your home and see that. You finished your basement, even though basement finish is not that a real high cost. Per square foot number. Maybe you had a 1.5 story house that you never finished the upstairs and now you finished the upstairs so that you've added half of the square footage. So if I don't get into that, then yeah, sure, we're missing that square footage. Getting inside is mostly about condition. What does that 1970s 1,500 square foot ranch look like? Is it original material still, or was it renovated in 2000? Was it renovated in 2015? Is it better condition? It's more about a condition. Bedrooms have no real physical cost calculation.
It's part of square footage.
Bedrooms, right, bedrooms, if you got a 7-bedroom house, you got a higher quality house than that. Bathrooms calculate a little differently, so, but yeah.
All right. And along with that, how does or will a refusal to enter affect a grievance? Is there any?
No. If I go to a property, there's no trespassing sign and we make every attempt to go back and we just don't ever get back, or I get on the property and then you ask that I leave and I don't ever get back on the property. But then in May or June of 2027, you come into grievance and you say my value shouldn't be that, then we're gonna have a conversation. Then I'm gonna ask you, how many bedrooms, how many bathrooms, what's your condition? I'm gonna glean all that information that I could have gleaned out of you a year and a half ago. And then if there's an adjustment to me, I make the adjustment for you.
So that's actually gonna end up being another bill for us, because you'll be in a BCA meeting.
So, yeah, so part of the contract goes up.
Yeah.
To and through, I think, BCA.
Yeah.
If state is different.
And the last one, no trespass. What's the appraisal status on a no trespass? How do you get that?
So, up until late. We've been. Well, I just say, no trespass is flat out, we won't go.
Yeah, but what do you do about the appraisal?
Same thing, we've mailed you a card that says that we're coming now. If I get there and there's a no trespass sign, I go back to Barb and I say, Barb, send them another notice, there's a no trespass sign, and she sends another notice and we still never hear from anybody. Then, basically, I'm gonna go into the data. And I'm going to hit the calculation button. Because basically the calculation is a cost calculation, remember that. The last time you guys have done a cost update was at your last year appraisal.
2008.
2008, so you're running 2008 2x4 costs and 2008 shingles costs and all that stuff. So no matter what, if I don't get onto a house and I don't do any market adjustment, your value is gonna change because the cost tables have changed.
Okay.
I bought a brand new car this year. It's double the price of the car that I bought in 2016.
Yep.
Costs go up. So values on any home is gonna go up flat out just because of the cost. Now, if I get to go into your home and in those 20 years, your depreciation has also increased, so you're gonna get cost minus depreciation. But if I go in there and it's further depreciated, I can say, yeah, no, we're gonna drop your condition. There's a benefit for you.
Again, the other side of that, back to the no entry in the grievance. If it's no trespassing and you didn't let us on your property and you go to grievance,
Yeah.
that's probably also gonna be an issue for somebody.
The only time you have to then let a physical inspection done is at the BCA level.
Okay.
Grievance, you don't have to let an inspection. If you go to BCA. Your BCA, you folks, if you're on, you go
Yep.
to sell on BCA. They have to allow an inspection. If they want to then possibly have the opportunity to continue to the state level. They can deny a BCA inspection, but then foregone any state level appeal. And or I honestly, at that point, I think the BCA just denies them as well.
Well, look, thank you. Those were questions that I think people needed answers to. Great job.
Yeah, no trespass. No trespass signs, gates, chains, fences, all that stuff, we fully respect. Yes.
And I can appreciate that. I was just concerned what happens with us in those next steps.
Yeah.
You know, when they come knocking back and say, well, look what you did.
Yeah.
They weren't allowed on my property and my property doubled in value. Well,
Yeah. I mean, there is some truth to that. If I look at the outside of a 1970s 1,500 square foot ranch. And I see in the picture from back in 2008, there's, you know, the old T111 siding, shingle roofing, and now I'm standing out at the road. Looking up your driveway, I can see vinyl siding, new replacement windows, new standing seam roof. An assumption can be made that it's better condition. So, fair assumption.
and then cost analysis.
Right. So an interior inspection would then possibly have me believe that, great, you put 20-25 grand in the outside of your house, but you didn't do anything, so I, you know, maybe a condition, 2-bump condition upgrade is not necessary to maybe only a 1-bump condition upgrade. But, yeah, to your point. No inspection's a guessing game. We will do every attempt to do an inspection, do every attempt to. Be honest with you, at the bottom end of it, that house that we don't get into, that 1,500 square foot ranch that we don't get into. If it looks just like this 1,500 square foot ranch that's sold within our window, then that's its value. Until you tell me differently.
Right.
So. It's all done by comparison.
Well, and the point I was trying to get to is for people to understand, to let this thing happen, let the appraisals happen. I can't tell anybody to let you in their house. But at least I'll let you on the property so you can do the best possible, you know,
Yeah.
give the best, for their own benefit, if they want to, agree it down the road. It's not gonna go well if they're not cooperating in the very beginning, is my assumption.
And that's true, and then it's also to somewhat of the point, I won't take much time longer, but some other point is that, you know, the biggest thing that I always hear. Separate of here, you're here to raise my taxes, I don't do anything with taxes. The second thing I hear is nothing has changed. Nope, probably not. But have you ever looked at your Lister card? No, I haven't. Okay, so it says that you have 2 bathrooms, I've never had 2 bathrooms. Nothing has changed. All I'm there to do, all we're there to do is to make sure your data is accurate. So nothing might have changed, but it just may not be right.
And I wanna make sure something else gets corrected that you just said, not corrected necessarily, you said, we're here to raise your taxes. No, you're here to do a reappraisal, and that changes the grand list, and we have a budget that we've already set. So it doesn't really raise your taxes, it changes the tax rate and the budget that you've already passed as a resident is still the same number. And so the tax rate will go down, but anyway.
Yeah, no, that's true, the whole calculation thing, if you wanna get into the weeds of how that works, and yeah, someday that.
Well, I just try to get people to stop with some of the rhetoric that.
Yeah, you know, that's a given, I get that.
I know.
Most of the time.
Yep.
Any other questions from anybody? Thank you, Mr.
All
Stoddard.
right, thank you.
Yeah, John.
Could you explain your timeline, and where I'm going with that is 27 rolls around, this is kind of a follow-up to mine. You file the grand list, people get their tax bill, when people see the appraisal, they see their value doubled. Probably 75% of people are gonna assume their taxes are doubling, which is not flat out not gonna happen.
Yeah.
But the grievance process takes place at what point in your?
Yep, you know what, that's a good question, so data collection happened, we finished data collection. By November, end of November of 26, we're gonna finish data collection for Weathersfield by November of 26. We do a finalized analysis, sales analysis. A change of value notice will be sent. And that comes in the form of a booklet, it's gonna be a full booklet. That is gonna say, here's your official change notice, if you've ever done any work on your house from year to year, you get a change of value notice from the lister's office. So you're gonna get in the mail a booklet that says, this is your official value change, and in that booklet's gonna list your old value and your new value, and then all your neighbors in town, the same thing. Don't quote me on any time, rough times, you will probably send notices. Weathersfield's an early tax billing town. It's gonna be tough, but you'll probably get a notice of value change May. Liz, I see that.
That
'Cause
is
I know
not
what
usually
you're
a
thinking.
window for grievances.
Right, so we have to send you a notice, we have to hold grievances, we have to finalize the grand list, and then get tax bills out. When do they mail tax bills?
Taxes,
Oh, you don't mail, you mail tax bills in August, your first day?
our first bill.
Oh, yeah, plenty of time. So, yeah.
I'm be wrong. First bill is in August, right?
Yes.
Oh, no, we pay our first bill in August.
We mailed that out like the second week of July.
Yeah, so,
Yes.
right, so to your point, we have to have grievances done, so you
It's
can
like
come in and
the
say,
tax rate.
you will be able to come in and
First meeting.
retrieve your value.
In July.
Yeah.
Well in advance of getting that new tax bill. You will know your new value. Couple months before you get your tax bill.
And if it hits the BCA level, that'll fall after the tax bill.
It does, in many towns it does, just because of the timeline. Yeah, especially in a town that's an early billing town.
Because one of the questions, you rattled a lot of stuff off that our lister's going to do. And my question is she on Limerick's payroll or ours?
Yours.
Yeah.
Okay, and that's in the contract?
Nate, do you see any towns adjust their billing cycles for the first billing cycle after the reappraisal? Because I've seen that here before where we've adjusted
No, I haven't.
quarterly payment schedule.
Oh,
No, I haven't. Not that it didn't happen, but I haven't.
Yeah.
Makes sense, I guess.
And I don't know
We
if
could look at doing that for that first quarterly payment to allow more time.
You know what, that's not true. I did think I heard of a town 2 years ago that did adjust their first installment payment. It was for other reasons, I think.
Because after grievances and we send out tax bills. I wanna say I heard of a town that had some issues because things changed so much and they ended up.
Hmm.
In a different position.
Yeah, you know, I don't know, you know, we track a lot, we track all this data. You know, here's another little tidbit of information. Our reappraisal towns for 2025. We had, so we do also. Do all the inspections, change notice gets mailed out. We hold a 2 or 3 days informational meeting, again, another attempt for you to just come in and say, no, I don't have this stuff in my house. And we'll talk about your home and maybe adjust the value, and then you can then come to your original, your duly warned legal grievance hearing. So that's another attempt to just correct data, then grievance. So, for all of our towns last year, we had 5%, so 12,200 parcels, total of 12,000 parcels. We had 5% of those 12% come into the pre-grievance or the informational meeting. Out of that 5%, we had 73% come back for a grievance. So out of the 5% of people that came in to visit, 3/4 of them came back for a grievance. Out of 12,000 parcels, 25 total, 25 people went to BCA. Good point. Right, so just, we just don't see a lot of numbers grieving or going to BCA at least.
Mr. Johnson? What constitutes a change in square footage? Does it have to be like an addition or a bedroom put in an unfinished basement, a bedroom with a closet in an unfinished basement?
So square footage above grade and square footage below grade is classified and valued differently.
Okay, so like realistic.
Yeah, I mean, so if before you had no finished area in your basement and you got a 1,200 square foot basement. And then you petitioned up some walls, you put down some flooring, wall coverings and ceiling coverings in 300 square feet of that. Then 300 square feet are gonna be valued as finished areas,
Okay,
but not necessarily above grade square foot finished areas, be at a lesser rate. Above grade is yes, did you tear something down, did you add something to it?
thank you.
Nate, Brendan had pointed out a minute ago, we actually set our tax rate in, what about the second, third week of July? That's when we
Usually the
vote to
first week
set.
for a special meeting.
Yeah, we didn't have to before, because we used to be first and third, and we usually would get it in there, yeah, about the second week of July.
I know, and I'm sure the senior appraiser for Nimerick knows your timeline. And knows that we're probably gonna have to do things a little earlier in the schedule than what I'm used to.
Well, we can plug it in on our side to, what you were talking about, we could kick the first payment to September 1st.
Yeah, I would just hate to mail out tax bills and the grand list value changes. And we've already set the tax rate, everybody's tax bills.
Now,
already
your
are.
grievances will be done
Okay,
well enough time for you to do your normal sequence of events.
okay,
Great.
And then to your point, I think about BCA's, if those happen. You know, if you have your 2 or 3 people that go to BCA and there's actually a value change. It's little, it's very good. You know, so.
All right.
Awesome.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
All right, great.
Thank you, sir.
Look forward to knocking on everybody's doors.
Who's got fancy music?
Alright.
Okay, next on the agenda, number 7 is the second presentation by Mr. Paquette.
Hello, thank you all for having me. My name is Kevin Paquette. I am the Executive Director of Springfield Area Public Access Television. With me tonight is Marita Johnson, the President of the Board. She would also like to say some words after I'm finished. I'll say my piece and then, of course, please tell me if you have any questions. I'm here to answer them. So cable television is sort of becoming a thing of the past. But once upon a time, when it was a thing of the future, the state of Vermont was divvied up into territories based on different cable segments running through different towns. And it worked out that every town that was on a cable loop had a designated access media organization, or AMO. And the AMOs are the public access TV stations. Vermont has 25 of them. Springfield Area Public Access was set up in 1998, and at the time it served Springfield, Chester, and Weathersfield. We also go across the river to New Hampshire, and our signal serves Charlestown, but because they apportion money differently, we don't get anything from them. More recently, we've also picked up the town of Reading, which historically did not have an AMO. Under the Cable Act of 1984, funding, we are a nonprofit. All of the public access stations are nonprofits. And funding under the Cable Act of 1984 came as a surcharge that was added to cable subscriber fees. Those fees, as you can imagine, are going down over time as people cut the cord. And because many of our costs had stayed the same or gone up over time, just as he described, the different assessments of the same cost 15 years apart. In home construction, we have to regularly purchase new equipment. We have employees to pay, including myself, and we have a building to maintain, or part of the building to maintain. And so as cable fees have gone down, we have sought to diversify our funding. In January of this year, which we now know was much too late, prior director Amy Parnell, my predecessor, came to the town of Weathersfield and asked for, I believe it was $7,500, and was turned away for missing the procedural window. This past fall, I reached out to Brendan Gulnick to basically have another run at it. And he informed me of a number of technical problems that I have to reluctantly admit I did not know about. There were a lot of missed signals over time for boring reasons, mostly connected to the handoff, and Amy left rather abruptly. So this time we did file our request before the end of October as the requirement mandated. And in light of the various technical problems we've had with recording, with the qualities of recordings, with the availability of the recording, even once they're done and finished, we are asking the town to give us another chance for less money. This year we are asking for $5,000, which is the same amount we asked from the town of Chester, which has a population that's about the same size. We did get our request into them in time last year, and they did approve that amount. However, Weathersfield has more meetings than Chester does, so you can think of it as getting a better rate per meeting. You have a school board that we cover in addition to the select board. In Chester, we just got a select board. My hope is, and I've tried to stay very tight on this, that the technical problems that led to the loss of trust have been resolved. And if they haven't, then I have to take ownership for that. I'm doing my best. I'm 6 months into this. But my hope is that we can start to rebuild the trust with the town of Weathersfield. I want to be transparent. We will cover your select board and school board meetings, regardless of whether or not you give us this money. It's our mission to serve the towns of our community. But if you give us funding to do this that makes it easier for us to pay employees, to buy equipment as it ages out and has to be replaced. And just keep up with general maintenance. That's the main thrust of my pitch. But I'm happy to answer any questions you have.
Have one.
Yes,
The school is a separate entity from us. So we, as a town, would also be paying for the school's service as well.
Brandon, you
And
had
that-
mentioned this when we came to meet with you. Can you elaborate on that?
Yeah, I plan to discuss this with Brian Martz to see if he would, how many meetings they have compared to how many meetings we have to figure out a fair allocation. And what's the town would like pick up the entire cost. We recently, as of last year, the town used to pay for the entire annual report, but now we split it 50-50 with the school. So it seems like it would make sense for it be a similar allocation formula.
I live in Springfield, so I'm sorry, I'll take your question in a moment, but I have to make sure I understand this correctly. So what we're hoping to get is a line item appropriation that the public will vote on. How would we do that for the school if that was a separate thing?
That's a good point.
That's where I was gonna go.
Perfect.
That's why I was raising my hand. And it's not only that, what is the allocation you're asking for?
5,000.
So you're talking about splitting $5,000 in half. But it's still gonna show up on the,
It's
so
still
the
the same.
taxpayers gonna still show up the same way.
I don't know if we had, I didn't know it was a special appropriation, like a special article request. Otherwise, we just put the $2,500 in each of our budgets.
Well, we have a policy for these, which they submit and it's good for 2 years anyways. Just, so that, once you get it the first time, you don't have to come back the second year anyway.
Oh, that's good.
It just goes into the automatic appropriations that we tag on to the end of the budget. The appropriations, we have an appropriations budget.
Unfortunately, I don't think we've ever had an appropriation, so this would be the first year.
No, we paid for SAPA in the past.
Have you, Marita, do you know anything about this?
SAPA, we've covered SAPA in the past, correct, Brandon?
I think it was a very small amount.
I was thinking it was like 500 or 750 or something like
Yeah,
that.
and it wasn't a special appropriation.
It was out of the budget.
It was a line item in the budget, correct? That's where I was a little, because we had it in the budget before, and I believe it was in the current budget for 700. Would we take that out of the budget and do a special appropriation?
John, what do you
It's
remember?
Structure either way.
$700, that's the only number
Yeah,
I'm about.
Yeah, $300 sounds correct.
Not quite sure where to take this, yes?
I'm curious if you've done a complete forensic analysis on what happened in the previous years where we had so much difficulty getting consistent coverage at select board meetings. And how do you plan to remedy that in the future?
I can speak to that. I don't know if I could call it forensic, but yes, I have attempted to figure out exactly what happened. Initially for the benefit of SAPA's own board, but I'm happy to share the information I have with you. There are a few different pieces to this. Part of it is technical and part of it is simply communication. These cameras on this wall, these walls that, as far as I know, don't actually do anything right now. They were, I believe, set up by SAPA. We used to have a system in each town hall, and the system consisted of cameras and a computer they connected to that was then remotely controlled by an employee. Sometimes some town halls, I don't know of yours, but some town halls had a camera operator who would come in with a video camera that would hook into that system for a combined feed. The benefit of a camera operator is that it's someone who can actually pan around and zoom in, things like that. Sort of like what the owl does automatically. As far as the technical problems go, right now, as you can see in the middle of your screen, one of our employees is recording this meeting just through Zoom. And that's how we do this now. So we are simply hooked in the same as any member of the community watching remotely. So we, on a technical front, are now as reliable as that system. if I don't know, if I had been put in this position a couple of years earlier before things got bad, I believe I would have tried to maintain this camera system. I believe the overall quality of the recordings is better when they work. But the owl is superior as a device of reliability. Um, what I am asking for, if we're just simply trying to itemize the costs I'm presenting to you, I am trying to basically come up with funds to pay the people who are operating the recording equipment. Like, it's not so much for the hardware here. I believe, Brandon, in the official request I placed, that I mentioned an estimated cost per meeting. Which was, it was a spectrum, because I wasn't quite sure, it varies from location to location. The employees are hourly, and then it's one person if it's just watching remotely. It's two if it's them plus the camera operator in the room, which here it's not. The second part to the breakdown of communication was just the communication, and I wish I could tell you what happened there. I can tell you what didn't happen. I didn't get, so Amy Parnell left at the end of April of this year. It was very sudden. I knew about it. I had applied for the job, and I simply had to hit the ground running. For the first month, I didn't have any employees. In the office, I did have the remote team, which was beneficial. In that time, I can honestly say that no message from Weathersfield ever reached me. I did discover after the fact that emails had continued to go to Amy's old email address. So that was part of it. Another part of it is that, and I simply hate to say this, but like, Brandon told me that they tried calling a few times but they never left a message. I never got any messages. He must have just called when we weren't in the office. I'm sorry. It's like that. That's just a crummy explanation, but it's the truth. What I have done to remedy these is I have gone over the scheduling patterns with the employee who is our meeting manager to keep an eye on everything. And as far as communication goes, you now have my current contact information to reach me. You've reached out a couple of times in the lead up to this, and I hope that you feel I've always been responsive. I always respond as soon as I see the email.
Yeah, you have been responsive since we made contact.
Thank you. I appreciate your endorsement. To me, I believe the problems have been solved, and I am watching them especially closely to make sure they don't recur. When they do, I step in. But beyond that, at some point for you, the board, this will always be a leap of trust. I'm asking you to give me a chance. I am the fourth director, and I did work it out in my head. I'm the fourth executive director that Sappa TV has had in 5 years. Jared Gunnell was the director for a very long time. He left during COVID. He was replaced by a woman named Asa Kramer. You told me you worked with Asa, and apparently she was the last one you worked with. She was director for 2.5 years, and then left to take a job in the media department of the town of Keene. She was succeeded by a man named John Gifford, who was very enthusiastic, and was in fact so enthusiastic that he was chosen to run the station in Brattleboro and left after 8 months. And he was succeeded by Amy Parnell, who lasted about a year. I have been with SAPA since 2015. I have watched all this happen. I am technically my fifth executive director after Jared, Asa, Johnny, and Amy. A lot of institutional knowledge is lost each time somebody leaves. We're a small shop. We have 3 people in the office and then 2 more remote employees. I need time to rebuild that institutional knowledge. I have done my best to pass what I know along to all the employees now, in the off chance I get struck by a meteor tomorrow morning. But time is the biggest factor here. I've been in this new role for 6 months. I have spent all of it running. I have had to get good at things I didn't even know I would have to do. I think I'm doing pretty good at that. I don't want to oversell myself. This is one more thing that I inherited that I wasn't expecting to be how it was. To be completely candid with you, when I approached Brandon in September, I was under the impression, because Amy had told me, that we were in line to get money from the town of Weathersfield. She had put that in one of her final director's reports. And then I found out that no, that isn't what had happened. And I went back and talked to her, and miscommunication. So I don't wanna pretend none of this happened, but I am trying to push past it. Yes,
I have one comment and one question. Question, are you going to remove these cameras if they're no longer in use?
um. I guess it depends on what your desired question there is. As far as we're concerned, those are, if you wanted to keep them, I don't see why they couldn't stay. They were bought for this job. But if you want them out of here because they're an eyesore, yes, we could take them out.
That's not up to me. My personal opinion, if they're not functional, they shouldn't be here. This is a hall that's rented to the public for private use. My comment is, the open meeting law has changed, probably since your tenure at Sanford TV, and we're required to post recordings of our meetings along with our minutes, so trust is important in order for us to comply with that law. If we're gonna rely on you to record our meetings and be able to have them accessible by the public within a mandated time frame.
This is where you could, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
It's
you.
incredibly important. If we're going to, I watch too many meetings, get off to a late start, lots of frantic phone calling and playing with computers, trying to connect with your organization before a meeting could start. There's a lot to overcome, and I don't want to make you any more uncomfortable than this already is, but I just want you to know that recording meetings is now required by law, and they need to be publicly accessible within a mandated time frame. So it's important to get it right.
That's actually what I was going to ask you about. What is the mandated time frame? This is where you can teach me something.
When the minutes are posted, when the draft minutes have to be posted within 5 days of the meeting.
So our official turnaround time, and this is what I've told the employees, is if it's a meeting where the meeting itself is held Monday through Wednesday, which yours is, we strive to have it finished editing and then online on our website where the public can watch it within 48 hours. If it's Thursday or into the weekend, then they get like an extra day on Monday, and it has to be by the end of that. But the goal is always a 48-hour workday, which it sounds like that would be within your requirements. I just wanted to make sure that we weren't agreeing to something and then misunderstanding what it was. But no, it sounds like we're on the same page.
Nothing further.
You're asking us for something, so I'm gonna ask for something.
All right.
And that is as a public access media. Fair, balanced, unedited, unbiased. Participation for all. Regardless of ideology.
That's already in our bylaws, yes.
Just wanna make sure.
If I may elaborate on that.
And that's not an accusatory statement either. I'm not accusing anybody of anything in the past. I'm just saying, I just want, you're new, and I just wanna make sure we're on the same page.
I believe we are, and I think I can set your mind at ease. There are two parts to this. The first is that for meetings specifically, it is in our bylaws that we provide what we call gavel to gavel coverage, which is the finished recording when it goes to the public. It starts when the meeting is called to order, and it ends either when the meeting adjourns or when it goes to executive session, if the executive session is the last thing. We add superscript titles that say this is the Weathersfield Selectboard meeting of the date, but we don't do anything else. Well, I stand back. We try to make it so the audio is intelligible by equalization and signal balancing, but we don't cut anything out. We don't add anything in other than the titles, which simply appear over the video. And if the meeting ends with an executive session, there's a card that pops up saying this is an executive session. And on some occasions when the recording has started late, there's a card at the beginning that says we lost 10 minutes due to technical issues. So we are always trying to be maximally candid, like, we're not trying to hide anything. In addition to that, I personally attended the journalism program at Johnson State College, and I sincerely believe in the value of a neutral forum that is available to everybody. We do have requirements on, like, you can't do any advertising, for instance, but all our laws are written down and they are visible on our website. People can click on them, read them, find out. If you want to do advertising, for instance, you can rent equipment from us or rent studio time. But if you're fully compliant and all you want to do is simply talk about something, then the studio is open. It's open to everybody. If you live in the service area towns, it's free. If you live outside the service area towns, I believe it is $25 a year. It's a token fee. I sincerely believe in especially in the current hyper consolidated media landscape of this world, where that handful of companies control large swaths of the media, that there is value in community media specifically. Before this, I worked at the station up in Newport, NKTV. Before that, I worked for the Herald of Randolph in Randolph. It's called the White River Valley Herald. And then I covered select board meetings for them as a reporter. I have always tried, for my own peace of mind, to be completely neutral in everything I do, because I believe that the truth has value. I simply want to show things to people as they are, and the camera is a wonderful tool for that. It tells you the truth unless you lie to it. So that's the service that we provide to people. And again, all these documents are on our website, sapatv.org. I believe it's under the About tab at the top.
Mr. Murray, you have a question?
Yes, thank you, Chair. I guess what I would say first off is I'm grateful he's the new executive director, because even earlier this year, the prior executive director violated many of the principles he's speaking about. It was Amy Parnell. And essentially, she was parsing in her capacity and posting publicly on social media as executive director of SAPA. She conducted really a lot of partisan activities in a nonpartisan town municipal race. And I documented it because a lot of it involved me and others. And there's no place for that. There's no place for a nonprofit community cable access. You know, I worked when I was young, I worked at Brattleboro Cable TV for 2 years, and then I worked at Bellows Falls Cable TV for 2 years. And we would record meetings and we would post meetings, and that was it. And so SAPA absolutely has a challenge to overcome in terms of the activities just this year, with partisan activities by that executive director. So I'm glad she's no longer there. But what I would also say is technology is on our side. And you just heard John Arison talk about a massive increase in our school tax bill that's coming that we'll have to assess. And with technology such as Zoom and YouTube, for a nominal fee, I think the Zoom Pro account, I have a Zoom Pro account, I think it's $149 a year. It transcribes, you can post it on YouTube with closed captions and narrations nearly instantly. So that technology is available, and to pay another company money that we don't need to does not make sense to me. So that's my comment. I appreciate your time.
August, I would like to say to you that I'm sorry you had a bad experience with the prior director. Her views are not my views, and she is no longer involved with us. Any other questions for me?
Okay, can I just speak?
Yeah, you gotta.
Why don't you just stay right there? I'm Marita Johnson, and I'm the president of the board of directors, and I came along just to support Kevin. We're very pleased that he is our executive director, and as the board of directors was not aware of the issues and the problems here with the Weathersfield Select Board recordings. So I support what he has said and we certainly will make every effort to correct what has been going on. And I do want to say that we've had a good long relationship with Weathersfield. I was on the founding board of SAPA TV. And I was one of the board members who came here to the select board, and John was on the select board at that time, 25 years ago. And the select board then did designate SAPA TV as your access media organization, which allowed us to incorporate Weathersfield and Chester and Springfield into our SAPA TV area. And so for 25 years, we have been recording your select board meetings and then your school board meetings. And also we've reached out to the community members of Weathersfield with the Historical Society and done a lot of their programs and the library programs. And we've been, once video on demand came along, which was in like 2014, so for 10 years or more, now we've been able to put your select board meetings and school board meetings up on video on demand, where people can watch them on sapatv.org at their convenience. And we do find that those are the most popular programs that people watch on SAPA TV, either on video on demand or on the cable cast. They want to know what's going on in their community with their official meetings, behind things. So I hope that you will consider our request, and I support what Kevin has said, and we're trying to correct things, and we'd like to continue continue on to record your meetings, and like he said, we will, whether you fund us or not with this additional money, we will continue to cable cast and also put your meetings on the video on demand.
Thank you.
I'm just, we have received this in red, the request.
Yep, and it's also on the back.
Thank you.
It's John, you're allergic to John. You're allergic to John.
It must be dust and he felt the bottle. Not dust. I'm only looking to dust.
Okay, we'll discuss it further when we're doing our budget. And your free time. Yeah, thank you for this.
We appreciate your consideration. Anybody? So.
Old Bow Road decision extension request.
We wait until people get figure out for a second.
Yeah.
Who is this one?
Sure. Okay. So on November 18th, 2024, the select board made a decision on Old Bull Road, particularly on the class 4 section, granting the request. Condition 3, the deadline. We would like to change that deadline from November 17th, 2025 to November 17th, 2026. And the deadline for condition number 4 to November 17th, 2028, pushing both deadlines ahead 1 year.
Can I speak? Yeah, go ahead.
I think it's a reasonable request. I have no objection.
Yeah, so
I think it's a reasonable request as well.
Do you need a motion?
need a motion on the floor to, is it motion on the floor to what? Old Bow Road decision extension request from 11/17/26 to 27 and 11/27/17 to 28.
So moved.
Second. Any discussion? All those in favor, signify.
Well, we'll give us a minute to breathe there. Just to be clear, the decision was as stated in 26, we're moving it up to 27. These were completion dates that were part of the conditions. But we are in a legal matter concerning this, and that's therefore the reason for the extension. So that the requests or decision, can stay in place, correct? Yeah. Okay. Perfect. Thank you.
Any other discussion?
Who seconded just now?
We fought over it, so.
It's always.
All those in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed, any abstentions, motion carries. Okay, budget committee orientation.
All right, so we're here tonight to do our budget committee orientation. August, I have not emailed you the FY 27 budget development timeline. We'll have a copy up there if you'd like to grab one. I did distribute it to the select board tonight. And I'll email that over to you and back and good morning. I need to tweet this tonight at the select board wishes to, this is the typical budget process that we go through. Between November 11th and November 21st, we would review and update periods 1 through 4 of the FY 26 budget. Develop preliminary projections for FY 26 year-end results. Review and estimate fund balances for all major funds. Finalize the FY 27 highway department and transfer station budgets. Conduct department meetings for the general fund FY 27 budget. Between November 24th and December 4th. We would intend on holding a budget committee meeting to reorganize the committee and establish priorities for FY 27. Review the proposed FY 27 highway department and transfer station budgets. Review the proposed capital plan for FY 27 and then continue drafting the FY 27 general fund budget. Between the December 8th and December 19th, the plan would be to convene the budget committee again. Present the highway department and transfer station budgets to the select board on December 8th for initial review and discussion. Continue refining the FY 27 budget as more information becomes available. We get a lot of information comes in waves throughout, like between now and the time of the budget process ends. So we'll still be getting information in January that'll have to be incorporated in the budget through workers' compensation and insurance. Figures coming later. Between December 8th and December 19th, we're continuing refining the FY 27 budget. Between December 22nd and January 12th. Finalize the general fund budget, highway fund and solid waste fund budgets, finalize the capital plan. Prepare and draft the tax rate calculation and preliminary tax impact analysis. Convene budget committee meetings if needed. Present the complete FY 27 budget and tax rate projections to the select board on January 12th. And begin working on our town meeting presentation. It'll be more administrative in the office. Between January 13th, although we would obtain input from the board and the budget committee on the presentation. Between January 13th and the 28th, the select board and budget committee reviews and revises proposed budgets and town meeting articles as needed. Final approval of budgets and articles may occur during regular special select board meetings. And we would continue to work on the presentation for town meeting. All town meeting articles must be submitted to the town clerk by February 1st. The town report will be assembled and mailed by February 13th. We finalize our presentation for town meeting. Town meeting is held on Saturday, February 28th. And no meeting will take place on March 3rd, 2026.
Mike, could you email us all a copy of what you just, that thing?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, oh, it's right there. Oh, I'm sorry, I was looking for it.
Thing.
Okay. All right, done, close enough, thanks.
Does the board want to make any revisions to this tonight? Budget committee?
Hey, can you hear me? This is August.
Yes.
I just wanted to say, I'm glad to assist. It looked like you were short on members, and I see Chris Terest also. We served last year, and I think we have the opportunity to help the select board as we did last year, review the material, give you a second set of eyes, and help along the process. So our residents have some additional confidence that we're working together to try to make the best decisions. So I'm ready to support you, Chair O'Brien, and also Mr. Golnick.
I'm curious how this lines up with the school budget process with the with what John presented earlier and just trying to understand the total impact on the town.
You want to explain the FY 27 school budget development process?
No,
Do you know roughly when the school is targeting having a finalized budget? That's really all I'm asking.
pardon me?
When the school is targeting having a finalized budget, do you know roughly that timeline yet?
We're still at the preliminary state. We do have a budget committee. And I know they've met once, and we've seen a preliminary budget. And that's when the numbers came from, that I brought along tonight. And
think we
as far
met
as getting
three
out into the dirt and looking at all the little categories and stuff, that hasn't been done yet.
I'm gonna correct you, John, I think we met 3 times.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Yeah, I'm on the budget committee.
That's right too, I forgot.
Yeah.
I think the timeline makes sense to me.
Anything anyone wanna change or add to it, or are we all set with it? Mike's down there using his calculator, it makes me.
No, you're fine.
He worries me when he gets that. Okay.
I'm just to give you, I'm just looking at where the dates fall for our regular scheduled meetings on this chart, that's all. That's all I'm doing.
That was taken into consideration when this timeline was set.
Next on the agenda then. FY 27 colon, number 11.
What was capital?
Oh, sorry, capital plan discussion. I almost skipped right over that one, that's number 10. Sorry. Capital plan discussion.
We revisited the capital plans. The highway department paving capital plan. We can't really adjust that number too much, but there is 100,000 in the budget right now for paving. So the net difference for this increase would be 20,000. The highway motorized equipment capital plan. We believe internally, the plan that we proposed is the best plan. But it would require a substantial a substantial amount upfront for the first year, which is 292,000. But it does save the most over the course of the 20 years. It provides the stability for the replacement of this equipment over the course of the 20 years. The fire apparatus capital plan, we were able to structure it to reduce it by 20,000, and it still works. It's kind of close, and it required more progressive increases, but we were still able to meet the cash flow of these replacements during the course of the 20 years. No change to the technology capital plan. 20,000 for parks and recreation. We settled on 10,000 to start for the Bowen Hill cover replacement. There is something we can do with the highway motorized equipment. We could. The way Ray and I structured it is we could borrow $300,000 every 5 years. So the payment would remain the same in the budget each year. So every year, the highway department would have a debt payment and an interest payment that decreases as principal balance reduces. And then we would contribute 100,000 for the first year, financing 300,000 over 5 years. So what this approach would do is it would reduce year 1 contribution from 451,000 to 259,000.
But it relies on the money back. Is it-
Yeah, we would take a note every 5 years. This would be a fixed mixed financing option. So it'd be $100,000 contribution starting next year. So what this does is it reduces the total capital plan impact on next year's budget from 451,000 down to 259,000. We would pay an estimated 205,000 in interest over the duration of the capital plan. I gave you guys an attachment. Did you see that? I can pull it up here just so we can compare what that looks like. There it is here. So if you look in the pull this up here. So FY 27, the addition would be 100,000 instead of 292. We would take a loan for 300,000. We would withdraw 500,000, leaving the balance of 134,000 after we make all of our replacements next year. Annual principal payment, FY 27, 73,000, interest 7,400, annual debt payment total 80,000. Then next year, that $300,000 note would our first payment with it. So our principal balance would go up to 132,000. So we'd have a more significant contribution into the highway department operating budget that year. But then one of our notes matures the following year and it reduces down to 85,000. And then once that note matures, you'll see that it becomes stable with a $60,000 annual principal payment every single year. Interest will fluctuate because obviously the first year, where I'm calculating this based on an average interest rate of 5.25%. Every year this would reduce the interest. So you'd have kind of like a roller coaster of interest. The fluctuation's not really significant compared to the total operating budget. Just something to keep an eye on. If you go all the way over to the right here, this is kind of the difference that we need to keep an eye on. The first year it looks really good. The difference between the 292,000 and our principal interest plus annual contribution, the difference is 111,000 the first year. So we are the first year experiencing that initial impact. Then the difference becomes smaller and it fluctuates, right? And then actually in FY 34, it starts going in the other direction. And we start spending more money than we would have if we would have just done the 292 to begin with. Plus, we lose money on that 200,000 in interest because we're taking off those continuous $300,000 notes. So it's really, do we want to? This was one mechanism that we're able to do to reduce the first year's burden. But then it ends up costing more. It's kind of like, do we want to go for it and save the most amount of money, but when we'll have the biggest spike in the first year, or do we want to see? Do we want to see it like this, where we're going to spend some more money, but the first year won't be as hard?
The question and potential problem that may arise here is, number one, you're taking out a note to fund reserve accounts. Yes?
No, we'd be taking out a note to replace equipment.
But that big money goes into reserve accounts dedicated to the equipment or infrastructure.
So at the time check out this loan here, up on the screen, it says 300,000.
Yeah,
So we take out a $300,000 note,
okay,
we're withdrawing 500,000. So we're putting that 300,000 towards that $500,000 purchase, plus we're contributing reserves to that. And then if you go into FY 33, we're taking in a note for 300,000, we're withdrawing 515,000. It's like we're putting 300,000 towards the replacement cost, and then we're kicking in 215,000 from reserves. And each year it does some very similar.
okay, so what happens to the ballot articles and the requests with the town's people to authorize those expenses? How does that work?
We would ask the voters of the town to approve the capital plan. The capital plan would be presented. And then the intent is to have this equipment purchased on this, for this capital plan.
Okay, so moving forward, there wouldn't be votes on purchasing trucks or graders or,
It would all
Is
go
there-
according to this plan here. That's the purpose of the capital plan, is to not eliminate public opinion. You're gonna get a ton of, we're discussing it now.
I can feel it coming.
And the goal is to save the town the most amount of money that we can and provide the most stability that we can. And that's what we did for this capital plan.
Right,
And yeah, it's a significant jump in the first year if we do it the way that we're proposing. Alternatively, we could do it the other way. Like I said, where we're, the town will ultimately spend more money.
in interest.
In interest, but also in budget. In highway department operating budget numbers. So you start to see that in, what was it, FY 34, where it starts going the other way. Like, I mean, here we're spending 53,000 more in budget than we would have if we just did the 292 to begin with, so.
Oh, I see what you, I see.
Okay. It's, see how it's easier up front here, the 111,000,
Yeah,
but then in FY 28. It's only an $18,000 savings doing it that way. And then it fluctuates, so you don't have that same stability that you have with the 292. Then you're actually spending more here. I mean, it's only 5,600 to start, then it grows to 94,000. And you'll see that number continue growing through generations. I mean, if we looked at like, I don't know, like 55, right? So another 10 years, you'll see this trend continue to grow. So it would grow. But how much did it grow over these 10 years? Almost 100,000. So it proved to be $200,000 more in FY 55 roughly.
I suspect that 292 won't be a real number by then either.
You're constantly, so when you actually purchase the equipment, the residual value could be different. The reserve account will gain interest. So as there's more money in it, we're getting more bank interest. So you want to constantly be adjusting that every year. I mean, you revisit that.
I just meant inflation and things don't seem to get cheaper or stay the same, or that's all I meant, that's what I meant, that won't really.
I see. So
I like what you're doing predicting out, right, and
Yeah.
trying to level things, the reality is things are gonna get more expensive regardless.
But the way that we controlled that is. We calculated a 2.5, or maybe it was 3, I'll have to look back at the calculations. A 2.5 to 3%, and it was based on. Historical data for inflation. Per year. For the cost, so we took the cost that it would replace, what it costs to replace the truck right now. And then we added 2.5 to 3% per year, every year. So that a truck that would cost, $200,000 for replace today. When it's replaced 5 years from now, that number is 2.5% per year higher. So we didn't use the actual replacement cost today, we projected a replacement cost. And it should be pretty accurate within a market. So that's where we're at there. Of course, the budget committee will have an opportunity to review this and we can get into more details. You guys like about how the numbers were developed, that's all I have for the capital plan.
I'm almost afraid to ask this because I feel like I'm the remedial one in the group, but. The capital plan has there's a capital plan for paving, there's one for equipment, highway equipment. Another one for fire equipment, so forth and so on. This is the whole capital plan you're presenting here, is that right?
This is phase one. So next year,
I thought, okay, so there's more parts coming,
yeah, there's gonna be a phase two,
which is,
which is highway equipment, fire equipment. And town buildings and grounds.
this says highway equipment and fire.
That's highway motorized equipment.
Okay,
So we're looking at like
So-
non-motorized high ticket items. We're not looking at like gloves and boots and stuff. We're looking at expenses that are over $5,000.
and here's the dumb question. If we can put off the two components of the capital plan, is it possible to spread it out even more? The total cost of this, what's presented here is $451,000, is that right?
Yes, or 259,000 if we go with the fixed mixed financing.
What do we borrow, 300,000? You just got through showing us how that's gonna end up possibly. So
Yeah,
I'm gonna set that option aside. Is it possible to just go with, in year one, the paving and motorized equipment components? And then next year add in fire apparatus or, some other combination? Is it going to really put a hole in the project if we spread it out a little bit more? Not abandoning it at all, I'm
Yeah.
totally not in favor of that, it's a fabulous idea. And I totally support it, but it's a huge bite
it is.
for these many, is it realistic to consider spreading it out a little bit more? How would that punch a hole in it?
It would cost the town more money. Every year that we wait, the initial jump into the capital plan becomes higher.
Seems like the two most expensive ones are these two top ones.
Yes. I would recommend. Like, when we looked at that last chart, you see how those numbers became less and less beneficial.
Mhm.
That's what it would look like if we remove one of these components. Like if we did the fire truck capital plan next year. Instead of a $100,000 allocation to start, it might be two. It might be I'd have to look back at them, have to see like if we did do the fire truck, and I'm totally willing to do that, or to go through any exercise. That you guys wanna see, 'cause it's a good idea. But it will 100% be a greater league next year, and there's no doubt about it.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I think the effect on that is, that each year. There are purchases that need to be made.
Understood.
As well as monies that need to be set aside for the purchases coming,
Which is what we do now.
Yeah, subsequent years, yeah. Well, yes and no. We do a lot of borrowing. So, so it's not necessarily, we write an article and we ask for them. And we have this much money in reserve account, we need this much money to buy this truck. And ask for that authorization, buy that truck, and that goes on and they say yes, but what the people aren't seeing is, I remember, John, and you do too, DeForest, when you worked here, we had this big long sheet that showed all of the equipment and all of the loans and how they lined up, and it came down to the bottom, and you saw them adding up, and I remember a spike on that thing that went to, it was cruising along probably right around 200,000. And then all of a sudden there was a spike that was close to $400,000 that was out about 4, 5, or 6 years that I remember seeing. And that's what he's trying to stop from
No,
happening.
I understand that.
Because what you see is your budgets go like this.
Yes.
What the 292 is, big jump, stable for 20 years. Motorized fire trucks get replaced, highway trucks get replaced on time, everything is just.
Not
stable.
292, 451 is what you're asking.
Yes, 451,000, correct.
292 just for the highway motorized equipment.
And I could look at another approach. To where maybe we could still be around 250,000 if we wanna do this entire phase. And maybe I could structure it so that the first year jump is more phased. So that maybe it's not as beneficial, but maybe it's not borrowing 300,000 every. But it wouldn't stabilize things as fast as this would. This is gonna take the most direct. Approach to resolving our capital problems long term. The more we kind of mess around with it, the less stable it becomes the first several years. But then it'll stabilize later, but there'll be more instability.
I think the argument in succeeding with this, it becomes right now, we have these bumps in our budgets.
Yeah.
I mean, they're painful, but they're not excruciating. This one might be excruciating.
On top of 16% increase in the school budget.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, that's where you're gonna run into a.
And I totally get it, and I was talking to the treasurer and I'm like, should we do a more phased approach? That's the fire.
Yeah.
And he's like, he said, no, it's in the town's best interest, this is the town's best interest. So he kind of gave me that confidence to come here again and say, hey, this is. Because we looked at the numbers, I can't tell you how many different ways we tried to structure this so it wouldn't be so significant. I mean, we probably looked at it. Breaking in my office for hours, we were trying to do it. And that's where this mixed financing option was born. Because we could still do it that way. And maybe we could. I can look at it where there's a loan the first year. But again, then you'll have that instability the first 5 years. So. And it'll fluctuate, but then it'll level out and stabilize. So we can do it that way. And the budget committee might have.
What
input.
did your chart show what those payments on that $300,000 would be over the 5 years?
60,000 in principal and then interest will fluctuate.
Roughly around 7 or 8,000 in interest. Yeah.
No.
Annual, no.
So the first year. Would be $15,750 in interest. And then it would go down to $31,50. So you can see here, you end up spending 30, 40, 50,000 in interest every.
But I'm looking at it as a taxpayer, not so much as a financial wizard. But 75,000 added to that annual budget number. You get 300,000 to use. As opposed to 300,000 that we've got to just tax and raise.
I get it, the first year you're doing that.
Yeah.
But then after that, it's the same every year.
But that's what
So
makes it, that's what makes it more
stabilizes your
attractive. Is at least as a taxpayer,
Yeah.
it makes it more attractive. Wow.
It's a tough decision.
Oh, I know.
I know. And it's not required that we do it. We can do it the way that we've been doing it, and I can show you what that's been looking like.
Well, and that's what I asked you to prepare for, at least in the future, is to be able to say, look, this is what you're going to spend to buy stuff. And if we do it the way we've been doing it, this is what it's gonna cost you in interest.
Yeah.
This is how much money you're throwing away. And that's where that savings is, that is best for the town. But again, taxpayers typically react to the bottom line on tax day.
Yeah,
It's just the way it is.
for me, because I'm a taxpayer here and also in Springfield, I prefer stability. I prefer to know what my taxes are gonna look like. Okay, so there's gonna be a leak next year. That's okay, because I project mine off of when I look at my business finance and work finance, we do 10 years. We try to look 10 years into the future, so we know what everything's gonna look like. I'd rather have that stability than that unpredictable fluctuation.
Brandon, we could have everybody in the town in a room. And there'd be 3 people in the room that do that. And you'd be one of them. There's, okay, we got, maybe Chris. I'm just saying, no,
Why don't we ask the, because there are a couple of residents there, what do you guys think?
Stability.
I like stability. I don't want to see it changes.
What do you like, Chris?
Both.
It's, I'm just trying to.
Factor everything in there. I think in any, but it's like,
What's the cost? I'm looking down the road of, 30 years, I don't know, 20 years, paying
$100,000 in interest. Yeah, I want to pay interest. So, I mean, it's like nobody gets by it, it's like, it's,
Maybe we can borrow money from Chris.
you're damned if you, it's a good idea.
2%.
It's like, well, I heard it's 5.25, I'm thinking, why don't you borrow from the residents, give them 5.25 off. Saves, but,
That's what this is doing.
it is, yeah,
Stopping that.
it is, because you pay the other rent, but it is.
Gonna be true.
I think along the capital plan as far as spending, we need to take a comprehensive look. at What we have and what we need.
We did.
And compare the two, and what would it look like if we didn't have something that we currently have? What changes, what happens? I'm absolutely flabbergasted at what some of the equipment prices are now. Town of Bradford bought a new fire truck, or their owners bought it. $920,000.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Yeah, that job.
I mean, it's astounding. I can't wait. Our grader's gonna be coming off the warranty pretty quick. I can't wait to see what that's gonna cost.
We have those numbers already.
No chase down people, I'm seeing.
I can get up to the,
And that's your 292 number that's gonna change.
so here's what we got. For the grader, in 2021 grader, years in use 5, useful life 5, remaining life 0. Residual value is a huge factor in this. So if we replace it at 5 years with 2 years left on warranty, with the number of hours it has on it, we're gonna get the biggest bang in residual. Sort of like the sweet spot that I found. So replacement costs $480, net $180. For a demo dump truck replacement, we're looking at 215,000 with a residual value of 25,000, so a net of 190. The fire truck capital plan is totally different because there's not a huge market for used fire trucks like there is for demo dump trucks and graders. So on fire trucks, we will max out the useful life of these. And the way that Josh and I came up with these, Josh came up with these useful life, with this useful life based on his review of the amount that the fire trucks are used. Based on call volume and so forth. Some of these trucks, he was actually able to stretch out until 30 years. This Spartan ladder truck was not, we expected to get another 10 years out of it. That'll be a conversation for another day, but the department needs a rescue truck, but they still were willing to try to get that extra 10 out of that 1999. So I think. If you look at these, the inventory, the replacement plan, the residual values, the replacement costs, the net difference and impact. To the budget. I really think we've maxed out. Everything as far as we can go.
But still, what does it look like if we take a piece of equipment and if, we can get along without it? That's my only point.
So when you take out a piece of equipment, like let's say we take out, I don't know, we take out one of these fire trucks. You're gonna put a bigger burden on the other trucks. So now. You're replacing those other trucks more frequently.
I'm sure you looked at this.
I looked at it that way too, so. You know,
I get a question, what is the, you doing it on hours longevity or how often you having to rebuild or repair something? I'm just thinking from power plant point of perspective, where I've spent my whole life in power plants.
Yep.
We would have a 3-year to 4-year complete rebuild on turbo generators. But we looked at that a complete replacement would go 15 to 20 years. But it was sometimes, okay, you look at it, and you're talking thousands of dollars, is it, how much do you rebuild? At some point, you get to a point where you can't fix it, you gotta replace it. But I'm just thinking, when rebuilding, I mean, I know these diesel trucks go for 500 or 600,000 hours,
yeah,
for miles, I'm just wondering if what constituted a complete replacement?
so residual with the highway department, residual value. Certainly impacts the capital plan. Some of the trucks are being replaced every 5 years in order to gain the most residual value. For the equipment that we would keep longer, where the residual value versus sale price wasn't. Wouldn't really do us any good. Ray will keep that equipment long term and rebuild it. I think, Ray, are you there?
Then you get no trade in on it if you use too long range,
I know Ray's not feeling good today, but we do have. Some parts of the capital plan that are rebuilds and use of existing trucks that we have, so.
That's it then. For that, right?
I think the budget committee can take it next and go through it there. Provide their input and insight. We'll invite the fire chief and the highway superintendent to this budget committee's meetings and then we'll come back as a group and discuss it again.
Okay. FY 27 COLA, number 11.
I'm recusing from this discussion.
It's the same as it was the last time that we've seen it.
I struggle with that.
You didn't lower it like we asked you to?
I provided a chart, so you guys can pick and see the entire impact. So there's a range from 1 to 5%.
But did you start at 2.8?
I did not do a 2.8% burden.
Why not? That's what the COLA increase is for everybody else.
And is that chart in this packet?
No, I don't see it in
Yes.
this packet.
It,
I don't think it's in this packet.
I don't see it in this.
Might be in the last one.
did I not put the chart there? It's on the screen. I'm sorry. If you go to the last packet on your iPad, it'll be there.
Well, I think part of our conversation, as I recall from the last meeting, was we said plug it in at the higher value, and then if it turns out that ultimately you say. Well, we
figured it-
less, that
yeah, I figured
it
you'd
would
start
only
At
improve.
2.8 and we wouldn't, and then go up from there, because. To me, everyone that's on social security is getting 2.8. That's what they're getting, that's it. When we present them, well, geez, He's getting 3.5 plus a raise.
Well, not only that, but our tax bills are gonna go up.
Yeah, and
Your,
insurance
your,
is going
your,
up.
your health insurance, if you're on social security, your health insurance costs went up. You know, by the time you're done, I can tell you, I got about a $42 increase in my social security check. And with the insurance cost and taxes, I'm going the other way,
Yeah,
without a doubt.
I'm not saying that our people aren't worth it. I'm just telling you, you have to remember who's paying this to that.
I absolutely do, and we have made substantial progress over the years. We have all of our employees at average or above average compared to other towns. So that we made that progress between 2020, I think the greatest jump was in 2022, 2023, 2024, 2025. And we constantly review that data, and this is the cost of living adjustment, and typically it is based on social security.
Yeah.
The 2.8%.
I personally think in this case it should be.
Yeah.
At 2.8, and if you have an employee somewhere that we need to address something with, that you do that with your managers, and you handle that within your budget.
And we do that. We frequently are looking at compensation studies because our employees, it's what makes our town operate.
They do,
And we have very good employees in this
Yeah.
town.
they do. It was said before that they're our greatest asset.
They are.
So but I say that, but if the taxpayers were to leave, what do you got left?
Yes, sir.
I used to be a town employee here and for the town of Hartford. And now I'm a taxpayer on social security. Those raises are pennies
Yes.
on the dollar. They're nothing
Yeah.
Yeah.
to pay somebody to do a good job.
Yep.
And it's pennies.
Agree.
Yeah.
Yeah, so keep the cost of living at 2.8, but do raises if you have to, wherever you have to, is what I think is what I'm hearing.
Yeah, that's your job.
Yeah, and like I said, and the department heads are constantly reviewing that. And when we do it every year, when we look at the VLCT's compensation study, if we're seeing the town employees falling below that threshold, we do make adjustments up. So
It's the insurance that's going to kill them, no.
Yeah.
What insurance?
Do town employees get insurance?
Health insurance, yeah.
And it's going up, I'm
Um,
sure.
but they pay a percentage, and our proposal was actually,
that's on the next agenda item.
Yeah.
we're there on the. You're right. Make a motion to set the COLA fiscal 27, 2.8.
You want to second it? Now we can talk about it.
So the thinking is we set a low COLA, but then the town figures out raises internally.
That's his department, yeah.
What?
He knows more what there is available for funds, and he can work it out with what he has in the budget.
I hear you, but I mean, we just had this other presentation on making the tax rate stable, making our budget stable, right? Making it predictable.
Yeah, but some of them might get that 3.5 and also get it on the other end as well.
I think I just heard the town manager explain that our most of our staff is in the proper range currently anyway.
Never agrees.
Which I mean, this, what you wrote in the letter wouldn't be necessarily accurate. When you were advocating for the 3.5,
That's the old letter.
yeah, but I'm sure it didn't change and.
I did not change the recommendation.
And this is based on the way you would budget 3.5.
We looked at, I mean. We can do it a couple of different ways and we still sort of end up in the same result, because when we do our compensation study of 2.8%, still. We have our employees below the threshold that they should be. It's just gonna be adjusted on our end anyway.
So the same dollars, same budget.
Yeah.
So it's sort of a, this is just a statement about how we're determining rate, is that what you're thinking?
Yeah, it could be a messaging thing.
And not necessarily every employee is at average pay. It's just, we don't let any of our employees fall below average. So some may be higher based on years of service, based on performance. So it's not like every single. Administrative assistant makes $20 an hour, every single highway operator makes $25 an hour. It's based on more than just that. I mean, as you probably are. So.
Yeah, but this gives you that 3.5% raise too.
I'm here as the tonight, not the well, I guess.
Just picking on you.
I'm also a taxpayer too, so
Yeah.
it impacts.
Rika, what do you think? You've been awfully quiet over there.
I have to say that all of this is not my forte, and I have a very hard time juggling these numbers in my head, so I'm listening a lot. And then figuring, I'm just gonna have to go home and do some more homework on all of this. Sorry. But it's not my strength.
The silence.
That's why.
I'm okay with the 2.8% if the board wishes to move forward. Although. 2.8% is fine. We do need to get it rolled down though, so that we can move through the budget process, because if the wages do impact a significant portion of the budget. And I need those wage numbers in order to calculate everything else, retirement, type, CCC. There's a lot of numbers that are built off of that number, so I can't really go until it's done.
What are towns around us using? Cause not that I've looked at a lot of towns, but I'm hearing a higher number.
Yeah, many towns look at this. They also use different inflation indexes. I don't think every town uses the same mechanism. I do know that many of us use the VLCP compensation study. And many of us, we compete against other towns.
Yep.
It is way more expensive to lose someone. And have to replace them than it is just to make sure that you're always competitive. So we do that on our end.
And in terms of compensation, is there any difference in the weight of the factors of the salary you're paying versus the COLA that we're offering? Is that a determining factor?
let's say that the board increased it by 3.5%. And then when we did our wage study. It still put someone short of the average. Then an adjustment would it would be made. If we did 2.8% and it put them over the average. We wouldn't need to make an adjustment. So if the average is 25, sorry, I'm not sorry, and we do a 3.5% or a 2.8%. And then let's say on July 1st or August or September, between July and September, I believe we get the compensation study. And we're reviewing if people are not below average, we don't make an adjustment.
I'm sorry, I missed that last sentence, people.
We won't make an adjustment. And we do our performance evaluations too, and that may make a difference. But COLA and that are typically separate.
Yeah.
The two do factor into each other when looking at area towns and ensuring that we're competitive.
And that's all I'm saying, is pay the employees what they're worth, but just set the COLA at 2.8. Let the 2.8 go. And if you've got to give up some people some raises to get them where they need to be, do it. That's what I'm saying. It may end up costing us more than the but then also at the end of that game, if you do the 3.5%, you still have to give a raise after that. And again, it goes up more. So we'll brace it all in there. But I do want the employees to be paid. You know, they do deserve. I said it before when you were a board member, John, an employee deserves a raise every year. It's tough, but most employees deserve a raise every year.
I gotta say this, that I don't know how the government calculates their COLA. They leave out certain major categories, but I'll tell you what, inflation and the cost of living in the last year has gone up one heck of a lot more than 3.5. I can tell you right now, our grocery bill is 25% more than it was a year ago. At least 25 to 30% more.
And that's another,
Gasoline has stayed pretty even.
that's another thing that factored into the recommendation being greater than 2.8.
It's fair. John, you should borrow a teenager for a weekend, see what it does to what you go.
You got 3 of them.
I think that's why he offered.
I guess my preference would go to the 3.5, but that's not the motion on the table.
Well, let's vote for the motion on the table and go from there. All those in favor of,
Well, there is another way.
now,
He can make a motion to amend.
oh, okay,
Then you have to make a motion, then you have to deal with that motion to amend first.
Sure, I'll make the motion, amend the motion to 3.5%.
here's a second.
Second.
Okay. Motion has been amended from 2.8 to.
No, it hasn't. A motion's been made and it's been seconded.
Discussion.
Oh,
All vote. Full vote. All those in favor of 3.5 signify by saying aye.
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 All those who oppose 3.5 signify. By saying nay.
I have not voted yet. Brandon, what's the difference between the total difference between 3.5%? Your fiscal impact for 3.5% is 44,000. So what's it gonna be if it's 2.8? That's a difference of 0.7%.
Yeah, the total budgetary impact between the two is roughly $6,500.
I vote yay on the amendment.
You say nay?
I said yay.
Yay. Motion carries.
That means the COLA is 3.5%.
Yeah.
Right?
Remember that.
Oh, wait.
Are you hiring? Darlene wants to apply for a job.
I'm out of retirement.
Yeah.
I just wanna get paid for the job I'm doing.
Okay. The 2026 health insurance.
Alright, so we.
I'm recusing from this one as well.
Okay. So we have health insurance both internally and with employees, and we did find a mechanism to do the HRA and do a debit card. We didn't receive any complaints in the staff meeting. What this would do is it would provide 3 different options. Option 1 being structured very similarly to the way that we have right now for employees that we want to take it to go through QHD, HP plan with an HRA. Total additional cost of the town would be $69.56 if all employees did this. Option 2 would be an MVP platinum plan at 90/10. They would also get an HRA with this. Total additional cost would be $12,000. Option 3, no HRA, but a higher percentage towards your plan cost. Total additional cost would be $13,000. So the total maximum increase in healthcare to the town this year would be $13,000. The board does have the ability to grandfather employees that currently have VHSA if it so wishes. Where no employees in the future would get the HSA.
Remind me, the HR stands for what?
Health reimbursement account,
Reimbursed.
you still get a debit card, you're able to pay for your co-pays and your prescriptions immediately. Whereas originally, we weren't going to do that option because we thought that it would be too expensive and it wouldn't be a big deal. Employees did have an issue with that because some have high dollar prescriptions. So that's something we didn't fully take into account when we did our first review. So we did research and found a way through MVP to provide that debit card to employees. And it's a small cost, I think they put it in the packet. I think it's like $100 or something, or a couple $100. And then basically what happens is they pay for their prescription cost that reduces the balance. But then if the balance left at the end of the year carries forward. So if we budget 50,000 for the HRA next year, and only 20,000 is used, 30,000 is carried forward in the town's budget going forward. So we only have to raise an additional 20. Whereas right now it's structured so that once it leaves the bank, it's gone.
Why would you functionally not allow them to grandfather in the old plan? Is there some drawback to allow grandfathering in the old plan?
The HSA. That's the drawback.
That's the savings, they get to take it with them.
Well, it's not so much that.
They take it with them anyways.
Yeah, it's not so much that, it's like, let's say we have department A. And we have, on January 1st, we front load 5,000 each in an HSA. That's 15,000. And then let's say 2 of those people leave throughout the year. They take that 10,000 with them, and then when we replace them, we have to pay another 10,000 to front load it.
So I understand that piece, I mean, it functioned like for, running the plans, is there like is it a big expense if we keep that plan active?
No,
Okay, no, I know, I understand the risk factor, right, we spent a lot of time on that before.
you know, if we grandfather people. And we do an option 4, let's say, which is the same as option 1, but with an HSA. We would phase the HSAs out. You know, right, if that employee did leave. They would take their HSA with them, and then the next employee would just get an HRA.
Correct.
So it would stop it in the future,
Um,
and that's a fine option, like from my perspective. Financially, that,
And from the managerial side of it, right?
Yeah.
Sometimes having multiple plans creates a nightmare. But that's
oh,
always,
I mean, in the past, we've always offered gold free and MVP. But this year it didn't quite fit everyone's needs. So we thought the third option would cover all bases, especially in a year to where our impact isn't significant. Like in the past, we've seen like 22% increases, right? Like 13,000 is a very small increase, I think.
so my questions go on the cost.
Well,
Looking at these costs, option 1 is a gold free, which is a high deductible plan with an HRA. And it says the HRA is $5,504, and the total cost of the town is roughly $7,000. How did we get to that total cost? If this is a high deductible plan?
so this would be based on it, all employees opted into this plan.
Okay,
So the additional cost would be 69.56. These numbers are gonna be different. Where the maximum amount that the town will spend between 2025 to 2026 is 13,498. If I had to estimate based on what I know, we'll probably end up somewhere around $10,000 increase, because some will opt into option 1, some will opt into option 2, so based off the feedback that I got, I would say roughly around 10, but we budget the there too.
okay, so your recommendation is to offer these 3 options as a.
Yes.
All with an HRA, oh, no, option 3 is a platinum plan with no HRA. Okay,
Cause they only pay 5%.
somebody actually wanted that?
I would probably go with option 3.
Oh, so it came from you. Really pretty.
I would say, in my opinion, option 3 provides the best healthcare for the employee, but. Medical needs differ too, so like, some people like option 1 because. It has other benefits structured differently, so it really is dependent on what the employee wants.
Why do we offer it with and without the same thing, the MVP platinum plan? What, we're gonna offer it with or without the HRA? Why would we do that?
So an option 2 would be
With the HRA?
with an HRA, but a higher percentage on the cost share. And then with no HRA, town pays a higher percentage, so even with the HRA. You know, so this would be more for people that would just go to the doctor, pay a copay, and they would like to see a lower amount that they would pay on a weekly basis. So like under option 3, the employee with a family plan would save $56 a week right now, going from 2025 to 2026. Our employee only would save $20 a week or $80 a month. Whereas with the option 1, gold free, they would actually see an increase. This is on an annual basis, it's not much, but still equates to about $8 a week, $8 a month.
Yeah, I mean, I just.
I don't feel good.
Who's gonna take over?
Are you,
Rika? Rika?
are you gonna be okay, you're on,
Yeah, I'll be all right, right.
shoot us some text when you get home.
Okay.
And you won't be looking for a decision tonight. You've already vetted past all your employees at this point.
Yeah.
The only thing I need to be sold on here really is the option 3, no HRA, and the plan cost share. I guess that's, I don't understand why we would go to that when. That one just trips me up a little bit.
Because it's the same. Total cost as option 2. Like, I'm not saying it's slightly different by, like, if everybody opted into the option 3, it would cost the town 13,000 more between 2025 to 2026.
If everybody went that way?
Yeah,
Oh, that's what that number's based on?
yes, in option 2, the total additional cost of the town is 12,049.
Yeah, if everybody does.
It's just structured differently, whereas somebody might want that HRA debit card to pay for prescriptions. So in order to have that benefit, they would pay a higher cost share. They would pay 10%. An employee that doesn't want that HRA debit card to pay for prescriptions at the point of sale or co-pays, they would just pay with their own debit card, they would benefit by 5%, just structured differently. But the total cost impact is minimal.
Okay.
See, do you see where I was going with that?
I do, enough to make a decision, I do, yes. At this point, it's done. I don't see it as being a big deal.
And what you're asking of us is basically to approve offering all 3? Is that what's on the?
As proposed.
Make a motion to offer, the healthcare plans listed. Option 1, Gold 3, plan with an HRA. Option 2, MVP Platinum plan with an HRA, and option 3, MVP Platinum plan with no HRA. The specifics are in the document, issued 11/10/25.
Would you,
Select board packet, huh?
would you include grandfathering in that?
No.
So, do we have a second? To that motion?
They're gonna be one of you two. I can say.
Okay. Nah, yes. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Do we need to talk about it first?
We could, yes.
Discussion. You're the only one that calls people on that.
Discussion.
All right, discussion.
Why wouldn't you allow people to grandfather in their current plans?
Cause the current plan is the one with the HSA. And
Some people have the HSA in the current plan.
yeah, I think the general idea here is to move away from the HSA.
I agree.
So that's the reason. It's a government structure, it's a business structure. It's just moving away from, something we've been doing for a long time. Yeah, I think it's time to make that move.
When you met with employees, what was your feedback on whether grandfathering would be something that was important to them versus moving on to an HRA?
We never discussed that. We wanted, the goal is to determine whether these 3 options would, if there were any issues with these 3 options and there wasn't. I only raised the grandfathering in tonight just as another option the board can decide on. I'm not sure how many people would actually use it.
I think if you have consensus on the three plans on the table, you're good to go.
Correct.
You feel like you do?
Yes.
Are we ready to vote? Any more discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? And any abstentions? Motion passes.
Just so you know, the three of us here, everything has to be unanimous.
No, I do know that.
Huh?
Get my fingers crossed.
No, there's three of us. Oh, well, no, but she was out in this.
Yeah, right, because divorce can't.
I'm back.
It's recused. Item 13.
I'd like the
Or-
board to table that. Sorry, Dan. The
Table?
reason being is Ray is
Yeah,
not here tonight.
Transfer?
He's not feeling well, and I'd like him to be present when we discuss that, because he's the one who actually developed that plan
okay.
for those options.
So they're going to the next meeting or just to?
Yeah.
With our table, but it has to be in the. So meeting.
Is that what you're intending?
Yes.
All
What
right,
are you moving?
the
Transfer
transfer station, basically working out a solution for. How to how to support the transfer station and what vehicle to use. What means, okay, then number 14 is the Memorial Grove at the church. At the, sorry, the meeting house.
Make a motion to, accept the second reading.
Any is second,
Didn't say that.
right? Is there any, I'm sorry, discussion?
Couple things, where do the two the two monuments fall into this plan? And, I'm not sure where they fall. The, Civil War monument, I cleaned twice with, some treatment that the town bought. And the second thing is that when Jim Mullen was here, a comprehensive map was made of that grove. Every tree was numbered with a brass tag. 2 deer binders were assembled, one was left here, one was left with highway. With a page for every tree that was supposed to have been kept up to date with work that was done. Nobody can find, to the best of my knowledge, nobody can find either one of them. And I wish a more comprehensive effort was put in to find them, because a lot of work went into assembling that. And it's a little discouraging to find out that you're starting all over again with something that's already done.
I would say that, it says, develop a management plan and a map. And I think that can be read as, say, develop a map, but if we've already got one, I mean, that committee
It
was,
was done,
yeah, I mean,
and if it hadn't kept up to date, that would have been a management plan.
yeah, well, yeah. But that doesn't mean, I think this sets forth more a committee, I think that stuff can happen, I think all that's good. But what if they don't find it, then I guess somebody will have to start over again, but.
I guess the good thing with policy is that it'll create more of an emphasis that it actually gets done.
Yes,
So that'd be a good thing, but it's still disappointing when that was assembled, because quite an effort went into doing it.
sure, I bet it was.
There's still numbers on most of the trees.
How long before we start listing members for this organization?
We're gonna say, for the.
Memorial Group? Because I think John wants to be on it.
Well, he drives through it every morning, so he should. Any other things?
I was just poking John about membership on the Memorial Committee that
Okay,
you want to be on it.
well, there's one member of ours, I'm not sure, will be on this stuff.
Okay, so we are looking for 5 members.
No, we're not dealing with that right now.
Oh, yeah,
We're just
no, but
dealing
that
with
was a
the-
question, and I thought you were asking how many people did we need for the committee?
Who's asking when?
When?
Yeah.
We'd start.
Were you asking me?
Now, John, were there changes that you actually wanted to the document? I mean, I know what you're saying up there, but I mean, that fits into the committee and at some point we'll figure that out.
Sure mention of it seems like the two monuments, maybe, people have been concentrating on the trees.
Yeah.
Nobody's talked about the two monuments that are there.
It's true.
Generally, they don't need any work, but nonetheless, there could be more work needed. The marble one tends to get black.
You said one was Civil
Is
War.
that part of the committee's responsibility?
No,
And I don't know how you would put that into the policy, or maybe by de facto it is in the policy.
Civil War monument, what's the other one?
It's kind of a catch-all to every. I don't know how to describe it. It's the mill wheel with a plaque on it.
mhm.
It's commemorates all people that have contributed to our defense.
Right.
I think that's a good way to describe it, I think.
Yeah.
It says all aspects of the property's upkeep. I would say that would include the monument.
I
But-
think it's a good point to add both
I
of them in.
agree.
The long-term maintenance of those 2 monuments should be included in this plan.
I would think so now. So, how does, I'm not sure which of you procedural people am I looking to for advice here?
You'd be looking for like a motion to move it to the third reading.
With,
But we're asking for a change to be made to this one.
I see. So I would make that change between this meeting and the next meeting.
Right.
And then you guys would be reflected in the third meeting.
the change would be just adding monument in this description line, which is in the second paragraph of purpose. Right?
Yes, that's what I was. It's gonna fit in here.
For planning, grass maintenance, soil health, stone wall preservation, monument, care and.
General
overall
grounds man, overall grounds management. Okay, then,
Would the mill, I'm sorry,
Go.
the mill wheel, John, would we refer to that as like either a agricultural monument or a industrial monument or something like
No,
that?
It's a military.
The
I don't know how to
mill,
describe the plaque. It doesn't specifically cite any conflict. It just honors the effort that all citizens of Weathersfield have put in during times of it.
and that's the mill wheel?
Yeah,
Yeah,
Okay.
can we just refer to it as the Memorial Mill Wheel without getting into defining it any?
yeah, you could name the Civil War monument and the mill wheel.
And Mill Wheel Memorial, yeah,
I thought there were two, there's two,
yeah,
One
one is the Civil War.
Civil War obelisk, and then there's the mill wheel.
okay, yes, yeah. Can
and I'll
those,
give you another example that why this committee should take this under their umbrella is that it was brought to our attention that one of the maple trees was getting in really bad repair, and if it went, it was gonna take the monument with it.
yeah,
So that tree was taken out.
I remember that.
And
Thank you, John, for bringing that up.
is the pound considered part of this?
The grove.
Yeah,
We own it.
Well, this policy is focused on Memorial Grove. And I think Rika's question is the pound
is that,
considered part of the grove? or
and is that
separate?
something we should itemize along, in that second paragraph along with the 2 monuments? Okay, I'm
The
just
fact that the
asking.
word memorial is in there, I think is adequate.
Okay,
And
Growth kind of insinuates something growing, but not necessarily. You could say memorial growth area.
oh, I think the whole,
I didn't think of the monuments because when I hear grove, I think trees.
Yeah,
yeah,
I never even thought about the monument as being part of this.
that was the genesis too. Brendan, there's a typo in inconsistent policies repeal. Is it a random F?
Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh, yeah.
I see that.
Where?
I forgot the O,
I see it.
yeah, of this amendment, yeah.
I'm gonna amend the motion to, I think I said to accept the second reading and move to a third reading. Needs to be added to that motion.
Okay. Is there a second?
It's been seconded.
It has. And is there any further discussion?
I just want to clarify that your motion includes these changes.
Yes.
Okay.
Please. When we do the third reading, if they're not there, we'll just pull off.
Okay.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion passed unanimously.
Thank you, John.
Well, thanks, John. Hey, go fix that budget.
Then, are we down to the warrant? Is that-
No, we're
Oh,
no, tell me.
Sure. Okay.
I'm gonna wait that tonight, it's been a long meeting. Unless you guys would like an update.
That's why I think it should be at the top of the agenda, where general reports are given.
Yeah,
I called each of you on yesterday and let me know what was going on with the fire department,
Yeah.
Other than that, we're busy in budget season. We have a lot of other things going on, but. I think everyone that I was gonna take tonight can wait for the next meeting.
okay. And item 16 is future agenda items.
Could I ask that we put the document declaration of inclusion in there?
Okay,
I think we've mentioned in an email that it would be, but it would be good.
Yep, absolutely. So as a future agenda item, what date would you guys like to discuss that?
The 24th.
November 24th? I think
is,
originally it's the 17th by accident.
do we need,
I had to be smart.
I'm having a feeling at me.
do we have to vote on that, on those items?
No.
No.
Anything else?
Anything else that wants to be included on that? Alrighty. Then, appointments.
Make a motion to appoint. Chris Cheris. And Dr. August Murray to the budget committee.
Didn't August just leave this committee?
Yeah, there were reasons for that, and he's things from restructuring, and he's good to go.
I can second that.
Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed?
And can you tell us who all constitutes a budget committee now?
Yeah,
Do you have a roster sheet for the budget committee?
so we have Pat Plimpton, you have Joseph Boublat. Christopher Charest was, did you just appoint both of them? Okay,
Yes.
Charest.
Yes.
I guess with one vacancy, and I'll get you guys all set.
Great,
Thank you.
welcome.
So we spent the fees.
Christian Weston.
So just those three?
We had four.
Joe Blueblatt, okay, that's who I missed. Sorry.
Where did, I think it is actually.
It was not on there, I think that's still coming, all right, so, do we vote on those, yes, or did we just vote?
No. You're
All right, so, is there a motion to appoint Chris Charette?
We already
No, we're good.
Did that, okay, but we haven't voted on, it, right?
Yes, we've done it. It's-
Yeah, we did
it.
that.
It's all done.
We're
Any other
Alright.
business?
moving on. Any other business? Yes.
What's up?
Would like to take the podium because tomorrow is this veteran ceremony.
Anyone
Alright.
borrow the podium, is that what you're asking?
Yeah,
Yeah, we can borrow the whole.
Oh,
If it was.
Enjoyed your company, but this is really funny, I think.
I see, you're literally taking it.
Yeah, you're closed tomorrow, right?
Yes, we are.
Do you need it anymore?
Nope,
Did she
I'm sorry.
say, because I can't.
I would have given that to you so much sooner.
Is there anything in the drawer that should stay?
I'd make it, at this point, I'd make them stay.
It's probably good.
He's not supposed to be lifted.
I actually suggested we have the memorial here,
I see.
but it was too late because it's gonna be cold tomorrow, so.
Yeah.
and when?
But I still don't consider it.
Not gonna be raining now, the reason.
I
So let me put my sweaters on before you.
Yeah, get dressed first.
I think it's fine with, those committee has their own, we kind of build one.
Okay.
I need a little shop time anyways, it might be time to build one.
I'm sorry, I thought you meant when you approach the board, you're not.
That's what I-
I said you had to, I was really confused.
I'm sorry.
I told her I shared the option under comments.
Perhaps borrowed a bit, or something.
Thank you.
Oh my goodness.
See y'all tomorrow, right?
Yes,
You tomorrow. There tomorrow.
Rush wall.
Is who's
Yeah.
jacket is that on the bench?
What time's that start?
Somebody's jacket here?
11:00. Thank you.
Wait, is that your jacket? That's not Alice.
Oh, okay.
It's always
Another
11.
jack clock.
That's a dumb question, it's always 11 o'clock.
All right.
See, that's the
11. All right,
Approve the warrants.
Approve the warrants.
Motion to approve the warrants dated November 10th, 2025. General fund payroll total $16,511.43. Operating expense $113,922.75. Highway fund payroll total $12,765.48. Operating expense total $31,860.45. Solid waste management fund payroll total $2,243.10. Operating expense $2,644.40. Library payroll total $2,497.26. Grouped expense, First Light Library Internet Grant, Nimerick, November reappraisal. That's a set payment. Total. And that is, operating expense is $7,552.80. Grand totals, payroll, $34,017.27. Operating expense, $155,980.40.
Okay.
All in favor?
No,
Any discussion, sorry. Hearing no discussion.
I'm definitely looking for one just cause Kelly had left.
I know.
I felt like I was looking for like a late fee in here or something. That I could bring up.
Yeah.
She didn't have any problems last meeting, so maybe she wouldn't have it. She was just feeling really crummy. She warned me when I came in that she was probably gonna leave. So, all in favor of accepting the warrant? Aye. Any opposed? Any abstentions? Warrant passes unanimously.
Motion to go into executive session, that is Title I, 313. Could be A, could be B, could be F, number 3, 2 or 3. It's at any point, it's personnel, employee contracts, whatever you wanna call it.
And do we wanna do that here or upstairs? And,
Is there a second for that motion?
oh, sorry, yes. Is there a second to that motion?
Okay.
Do we need any discussion? Hearing no discussion, shall we move into executive session? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, no abstentions.
Alright, Stephanie, alright, we're meeting next week, right? We set up a meeting. Okay, we can meet next time.